We're live. TFN Sanity here with the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, nice shirt. I like that. I like that. Representing.
Definitely.
Reggie, Eaz-E Barnett Jr. What's going on, Reggie?
Nothing much. How you doing, Steve? Thank you for having me on again.
Oh, thanks for coming on, man. So, this BKFC that you are in is blowing up.
Have the people heard the fighting news yet? I am on the card as the co-main event. Finally.
So I was going to get to that later in the show, but
let's get to it later. I'm super stoked. Yo, the card is filling up. They brought Artem Adams back, and of course, that's my homie. We made our debuts for Bare Knuckle together, so I'm always excited to see Kumbaya come back. Joe Elmore, he's going to show up to bang regardless. And Leonard Garcia, he's just a fighter. He don't know nothing else but to fight. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup.
So we're gonna get back to Bare Knuckle.
All right, let's talk. I'll stop talking. I'll let you ask the question.
We're gonna get back there. We're gonna get back there because we want to go back to the beginning when you just mentioned the beginning of Bare Knuckle. So you are on BKFC 1.
Yes.
So how did that come about? How did you get the phone call to be on? And how did you hear about bare knuckle fighting? Like, walk us through that.
Initially the open call for the tryout for bare knuckle fighting championships in Philadelphia that they had was initially where I got my start. Everybody knows I went to tryouts and I showed out. I gave Dave the hardest time possible. But my skill spoke for itself. Hands down, I don't care what anybody says. At the tryouts, the very first tryout in Philadelphia, I was the best fighter there, hands down. Everybody knew that. Dave knew that. And then everything that transpired behind the scenes as far as him pushing to get the sport legalized and get a state to sanction it, we were just kind of hanging in there, hoping that one day we would get the call. And when I saw that post that they put, that they finally had got a state to legalize it, I knew it was just a matter of time, and we just kind of waited, and we got that call to be on the first BKFC, and the rest is kind of history. We just been riding this roller coaster since.
Yeah, and that was back in 2000, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's about 2 years ago. Look, man, don't ask me dates. I don't do good with dates.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, you're on BKFC 1, and that was in
that was June 2nd, 2018 in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I do remember that. Yes, I'll never forget that date. That was one of the most. That for me, that was kind of like going to receiving, almost. It was scary because it was going into such the unknown. You didn't really. Even though we came to fight, we didn't know what we were really getting into at that point.
Yeah, and you fought Travis your first fight. You did your 5 rounds with him, 5 2-minute rounds.
I love Travis to death. I painted a masterpiece on him, and Travis is a tough SOB. I hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, and he would not go down. At a certain point, you got to know, that you're not going to be able to knock everybody out.
Right.
After I blitzed him in the 5th round, that last 20, 30-second flurry, and he just looked at me like, yeah, I was just like, all right, I'm done with you, bro. I don't already beat you up enough. I won this
fight. And you were a fan. That was it.
What do you mean?
That now, I mean, your first fight, bare knuckle, you were hooked. You like, I love this. I want to do this again. This is.
No, I will say that was my first legally sanctioned bare knuckle fight. And we'll just, I've done plenty of backyard fighting, and I fought in a garage a few times too, back when I was a kid. But as far as bare knuckle, yes, I was hooked before we even fought. Yeah. Just when that first fight took place, just the show and the atmosphere and the vibe, it was just, there's no way to explain it. And every time it just gets better and it gets bigger and it grows and the family gets bigger. And it just, it's just a great atmosphere and a great organization to be a part of. And I'm just so grateful that I took that risk and I went up there to Philly and I put on, and I got to get my foot in the door at the beginning.
Yeah, and you're the #1 most fights for bare knuckle fighter. Is that correct?
Me, Johnny, and Joey Beltran are all tied now for the most appearances in bare knuckle, and I'm tied for the most wins in bare knuckle with Johnny Bedford.
Wow. Wow. So, you mentioned Johnny Bedford. I was going to get to him later again in the show as well. But, you mentioned.
I don't mean to be jumping the gun.
No, no. This is all good, man. We're talking.
So look, hold on. So I think this is important too, that people should know this. At the first bare knuckle, and please excuse my ignorance, I didn't know who Johnny Bedford was.
Right.
And my brother Brandon was like, yo, we were in the corner room, and he's like, yo, that's Johnny Bedford. And I was like, who? He's like, former UFC fighter. You don't know who that is? And I was like, nah, bro. 'Cause I never really followed UFC.
Yeah.
After 2003, 2004, I really didn't follow. So I didn't know that he was a former UFC fighter. And so we both went out there. We both performed. We had our fights. And then the back, we were like, yo, what weight you fighting at? He's like, 135. I said, me too. I said, bro, we should get Dave to start a tournament and put us on opposite sides so we could fight for the title.
Yeah.
So that was already written.
Right.
We knew we were going to fight each other at some, for that belt at some point. And the better man just happened to win that night. But it's all good. The people need to know that we planned this. Like, we were,
right.
We wanted that fight to happen. And I'm grateful that Dave Feldman, went out there on a limb and started the 135-pound tournament for us, just for us.
And that's your only loss out of the 6, right?
My only loss. It was at the tournament final. You win some, you lose some. Somebody had to win. Somebody had to lose. But it's not about that one loss. It's what I've accomplished since then.
Yeah.
And I've had 2 absolutely dominant performances since then.
Yeah. You won your 5 fights, all unanimous, and 1 loss.
Actually, no, I got a TKO.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Matt Murphy.
That's right.
I TKO'd Matt Murphy. I cut him up real good, so he quit. I mean, and I want people to understand this too. Me doing bare knuckle at 135 is me fighting 2 weight classes above my natural weight, because I box at 128, 126. So me doing bare knuckle at 135 is me fighting 2 weight classes above my normal fighting weight. Yeah. But I've never shied away from the challenge. I've never been scared of the fact that almost everybody in my weight class is bigger than me. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, but there is none below 135.
I don't think there's a 120. I think they had 125-pound fight, and then they just kind of did away with the weight class.
Yeah. It's like the UFC. It's hard for people to really make that weight. But unless you walk around at that weight,
it's hard to sell that weight class, especially in the men's division. It's hard to sell 125-pound men's weight class in this type of combat sport. Boxing is a little easier, but and we discussed it with the team and with the BKFC, because we had considered maybe moving to another weight class since the other guys wanted to, prolong and finagle about when they were going to defend their belts and whatnot. But at the same time, like I said, it's a little tougher. For me, it's not tough to make the weight. It's just a hard sell, and it's hard to find somebody at 125, who can fight me. So it's hard for them to find somebody to fight me regardless.
Wow. So we got a fight coming up, BKFC 16. Like you said, co-main event. How you feeling about that?
I'm grateful, that I finally get an opportunity to be, a headliner. Well, not necessarily a headliner, but a big name on the card.
Yeah.
And then I'm grateful for the opportunity to fight a former superstar in boxing. I feel like getting in there with Chop Chop and beating him definitively is going to raise my superstar aspect. I feel like it's going to make the combat sports community take me a little bit more seriously. I think they're going to recognize the skill and the effort that I put into getting where I am in bare knuckle.
Yeah.
This is not an easy sport. They said that boxing was the hardest sport in the world. Not anymore. Not anymore.
And do you think your 6 fights experience wise is a big advantage for you?
As far as bare knuckle wise, yeah, definitely a big advantage. I think it weighs the scale. I think it is not I won't say an advantage. I think it weighs the scale and it makes the fight more interesting. My experience factor in bare knuckle versus Chop Chop's experience and accomplishment in the boxing world.
Yeah,
that's what gives it that little bit of interest. As I always refer to myself, the outcast or the no name from Chesapeake, who has not world-class boxing experience, not world-class MMA experience, but can fight and has a crap load of skill and drive, and a training ethic like no other can, overcome somebody who has reached the pinnacle of another echelon of combat sports. So that makes it a little bit more intriguing, I think, for the fans. And I hope they tune in to see that the work that I put in is for real. And I earned my spot. Like you said, this is going to be my 7th fight.
Yeah.
I shed blood, tears, sweat, drool, snot, any bodily fluid you could think of has, came out of me in that bare knuckle squared circle. So somebody who's never put in nothing in there to come in there and push me out, you're going to have to kill me.
Yeah, for sure. And you're southpaw, right?
Yeah, I'm a southpaw.
Chop Chop's southpaw.
Yep. And
so how are you training for that?
My last opponent was a southpaw.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, my hands are educated enough to fight. It doesn't matter whether they're a southpaw or a right-handed fighter. That doesn't even really carry any weight anymore. You could fight from either stance. You could switch back and forth in the fight. It would not matter. I'm still able to see. I'm still able to stay in the pocket. I'm still able to make the adjustments to hit you and not get hit. And that's what, for me, this sport is about. I love the tough guys that go out there and they just want to brawl and they're okay with taking as much damage and to give as much damage. And I'm cool with that too. We've seen Reggie go out there and perform in that retrospect too. But if I can beat you up and still walk out of that ring looking as ugly as I normally do, not any uglier than I was before I got in there, then I'm cool with that. And I will continue to fight that way. And I'm not the guy but I've never been the guy to just lay back and wait, and I'm coming to get you.
Yeah.
I'm coming to fight. I'm a fighter. I love fighting. And I want to make sure after all the hard work that we put in, all the grueling training, all the brutality that they put me through in the gym, that I felt like it was worth it at the end of the night.
Right.
And so when they say, oh, your fights all went 5 rounds, well, shit, I trained for 2 months.
Yeah.
I only get 10 minutes. Why not go out there and perform for my entire 10 minutes if I spent 2 months of my life preparing for it?
Yeah.
It's great to see the knockouts and whatever. Like, I'd love to do at least 3-second knockout, right? But I could just imagine, man, how much he went through to get ready for that fight, and then just go in there, and it's great. Like, you got it, but damn, all that work that you put in. So for me, I want to go out there and perform. I want to go out there and fight. I want to go out there and put on for the fans. Let's have a bang out war. And if it goes all 5, it does. And if somebody gets dropped in between, it does. But I'm coming out to put on the show.
Nice. So you mentioned that you've been in bare knuckle fights before, just not at bare knuckle fighting championship. So sort of like a backyard brawl type of thing? Bare knuckle?
Yeah, when I was I guess a young adult. I did a few unsavory things, and I found myself in a few bare knuckle brawls in the backyard. And then another time,
in Philadelphia, or where in Virginia?
No,
where we were talking.
Well, no, I have fought in a couple. I fought in a few street fights here at home back in Virginia, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Maryland.
Okay, so they fly you in. They drive you in. You drive there.
No, we were just kind of traveling, doing things, just kind of philandering through life, and we kind of just happened to fall in with the wrong crowd, and they were, hosting these little underground fights, and somebody was like, "Oh, he boxes back in Virginia," and I was like, "Come on, y'all, I don't want to fight." And they're like, "Come on, get in there and fight." And so the first time it was almost like, I can't compare it to the first BKFC fight, because I just really was like, all right, whatever. If y'all want me to get in here and fight, I'll get in there and fight. And I absolutely obliterated that kid. And everybody was like, oh my goodness, and they wanted me to do it again. And I was like, it's not happening. And then the second time I fought underground, it was like, I knew, like it was almost on some, this is before the Kimbo era almost.
Before Kimbo.
Yeah, this is before Kimbo,
we're
before
talking
or whatever. It was
long
like
time ago.
Yeah, it was there was a rival group of guys, and I was a part of the other rival group of guys, and they're like, well, you pick one of your guys and we go pick one of our guys, and we just go meet up and they go fight whoever wins, that they get, seniority, they get ranked, blah, blah, blah. And so I was the guy they picked, so we knew we were going to fight. And so we showed up, and it was at this dude's garage, like everybody just showed up at the house, and we went in the garage and he scrapped, and I beat his ass, and I picked him up and put him in the chair afterwards, and we shook hands and embraced or whatever. And the guys who were beefing, they had their words when we went, and they treated me like like their little mini king for a couple of days,
Right. And how big was the guy you fought? Was similar?
Oh, he was bigger than me. He was bigger than me.
Yeah.
I want to say weight wise, maybe like 10 or 15 pounds, but height wise, the dude was like all of 5'10", 5'11".
Okay.
And I'm 5'5".
Jump a little.
5'6". So, it's just things, like I said, I was, at that time in my life, I wasn't really in a good spot, and I was just doing things to, I guess, fill my time, and I don't know. But yeah, so it's not like I ain't ever been in a bare knuckle fight before. Shoot, if we want to take it back even before that, I remember when I was in high school, there's this kid, I absolutely hated him. I hated him with the passion. And I hate to say that I hated somebody, but that's how much we did not like each other. We fought twice. One time in his front yard. The second time, his mother brought him to my house. We fought again. And then 2 kids at school jumped him because he was a jerk. Nobody liked him. 2 kids at school jumped him. But me, I don't play that game. I believe in shooting the fair one. If you have beef with somebody, y'all have a problem or whatever, then y'all shoot the fair one. Whoever wins, wins. You know, you've established your respect and you keep it moving. But when you get to jumping people or, you know, gang attacking people, whatever, I didn't really stand for that. So I went back to school and I told them, I said, if y'all jump him again, I'm going to come get y'all. Well, to spite me, they jumped him again on purpose.
Oh, boy. Right?
I did not like this kid at all. And I talked to him that day and I was like, look, man, if they give you any more problems, you know, I'll help you out. Well, right after I left, they rolled up and they jumped him again. So I went to school the next day and I mean, even the principal knew that this was going to happen. I told him, me at so-and-so's backyard, we fighting. It's going to happen. And so we met in the backyard, me and the kid that got jumped, and he fought one of them, and I fought the bigger one. I'm not going to put his name out there. He knows, and if he sees this video, and me and him are cool. Now we're cool. To this day, we're cool.
Yeah.
I beat the shit out of him. And my buddy lost his fight. So then I beat the shit out of the other dude. And they were begging for me to stop beating these kids up. But I was just And I was on a different, I just was like, I don't stand for that. Like you aren't going to just straight jump people. That was really, I want to say, like my first real, like it's going down in the backyard. There was at least 200-300 kids circling, some were, standing on each other's back, looking over the fence and stuff.
like that movie. Like that movie.
Almost like a movie. I mean, but I'm not making this up. I mean, I can see names of the people. No, I ain't gonna do it to them. You know who you are, bro. I love you to death, man. That was back when we was kids. I just love sharing that story when people ask what my bare knuckle, fighting experience was prior to actually being a professionally licensed bare knuckle fighter. There are plenty of other times I've been in scraps on the street. So
what about other sports in high school? You got any other sports?
I wrestled. I absolutely sucked. I went 0-15, got pinned every match.
So you liked it, huh?
I went back and I quit 10th grade year, and I was a state alternate by then. I was an alternate for states. So when I first started, I got pinned every match. Wow. And then I played baseball for a while. I played AAU ball. I played travel ball. I was good at baseball. I asked my dad, which fight were we at? We were at one of the bare knuckle fights, and we were sitting up in the bleachers, waiting for the event to start. And I looked over at my dad, and it was before it was the Clay Burns fight, as a matter of fact. We were sitting up in the bleachers, and I looked at Dad, and I was like, Dad, did you ever think in a million years that we would be traveling across the world so I could fight people bare knuckle? And he was like, nah, son, I was hoping to be sitting up in the stands watching you play shortstop.
Shortstop for the Yankees. That's funny.
But hey, I mean, the story is written the way it's written for a reason. I've gone through some struggles. I've overcome some things in order to get to this point. And I feel like all of that has made me be able to go out there and perform and compete and grow, not just as a fighter, but also as a human being within this.
So let's call you a prize fighter because you're fighting for money, right? So have you reached your goals as any kind of fighter? Have you, your dreams, your aspirations, have you gotten to the point where, wow, I always wanted to be a co-main event? Like, was that a dream of yours? Was that you always want a headline? Like tell me what are your goals?
Well, it's kind of hard to say what is your goals, because you set one and then you accomplish it, and then you set a higher one, and then you set one and you accomplish it, or you fall short, so you come back, you resurface some things, then you go back about accomplishing it, and then you set another one. And so, and in retrospect to the question you asked, just being recovered from a hopeless state of mind and body and being able to go out there and perform at the capacity I do was the first goal in itself.
Okay.
I accomplished that.
Yes, sir.
The second goal was just being able to, sorry, I lost my train of thought. My wife's talking. The second goal was just being able to take care of my family.
Yes,
right?
Sir.
That prize fighter, we fight for money.
That's right.
I'm not in this, I'm not at the pinnacle where I'm on that Conor McGregor level, but bare knuckle is always.
But not now. I mean, there's Mayweather, Tyson, and McGregor. I mean, other than that, those are few and far between, those guys. But
they've always taken care of me since day one and helped me increase the value of my life, which has been able to, of course, transpire into the value of my family's lives. I was at a point in my life where I felt comfortable enough to bring another child into this world and not have to worry about missing any time out of his life. Mission accomplished,
Yes,
and so we say, well, of course the goal was to win the world title. Who doesn't want to win a world title? And we came up short, but that doesn't mean that mission wasn't accomplished. That just means we got to go back, do some reconfigurating, tweak a few things and go about it a different way. And so now here we are, like I said in another thing, I thought the story was going to be written one way and it wasn't. but that's okay because I still have the opportunity to write it the way I want to write it.
Yeah. And now Johnny lost his belt. So, you know, you have, I don't know what the future holds for you, but you know, you're out of two people that are worth a shot at that is you and Johnny. I mean, it's, you know, so what do you think about that?
Time will tell.
Yeah.
But like I said, I got into this sport to be a fighter. I came into this sport to fight and be the best version of myself and to challenge myself. And that helps me grow and give back to others and become a better person. So I'm going to fight. I ain't going to wait for them. They can drag their feet all they want. I came into this sport to fight. And we all know that this is not a young man's sport. And I don't, me personally, I don't want to be the old man trying to hang on and fight, you know, when I know I'm past my prime. Me personally.
How old are you, Reggie?
I'm 34.
34. So you're fighting a guy 10 years older.
Yeah.
He's 44. At the end of his boxing career. But
honestly, I don't want to be that guy. I promised my wife I will retire at 40, no matter what I accomplish, and I will stick to that. And I will not come back. And no amount of money could ever, because that was the promise I made to my wife, and I will stick to that. And so while I have this time frame, I'm gonna go out there and get everything I can get. I'm not gonna wait on them dragging their feet to make up their mind, him and Han, whether they want to fight, cherry picking who they want to fight and when they want to fight. You put it on the table in front of me, and dude is crazy enough to step in the square circle with me, then let's get it. Because at the end of the day, anybody who knows if you step in that square circle with me, there's going to be blood.
Yeah.
Every fight. Go back, watch every last one of Reggie Eaz-E Barnett Jr.'s fight. There's blood.
There's a lot of blood, and there's a lot of punches being thrown, for sure.
Yeah, I'm coming to fight, so I'm not going to wait on them to make up their minds whether they want to fight or not. I know I want to fight. I wouldn't have showed up to Philly in 2018 if I didn't want to fight. Well, 2017, you know. So it's like, come on.
Yeah, for sure, for
I
sure.
have the utmost respect for Chop Chop, but you ain't. There's levels to this. You have hit that level, and you are no longer there. And if you are, that's cool because I'm at that level too, if not higher, and we can meet in the middle and see who sputters out first.
So you want him to meet you at the center of the squared circle, and put on a show for everybody.
Let's go. Don't run. I don't want to box.
There you go. So this fight, let's just for people watching, it's March 19th in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yes,
and they can watch it on the BK TV app.
Yes.
So let's go back.
That so much better than you in a little bit. I'm just letting you know.
Say it again. Say that again.
That I'm gonna sell that so much better than you in a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, you'll close out the show with that. My bad. So we just had a fight. I've known Dat for at least 10 years. Back from the boxing days. You know, when he used to box, and you know, he's always wanted to have a belt and be a champion in boxing, or whether it be bare knuckle or boxing. And you know, so his dream of having a belt has come true.
But that's all he has is a belt. He ain't no champion. I got plenty of belts. I got like 30 or 40 belts.
Well, he's the bare knuckle fighting championship champion.
What?
He's the bare knuckle fighting champion.
If you say so.
At bantamweight.
He's the bare knuckle fighting championship's bantamweight belt holder. Yes. You're not a champion until you defend your belt. Okay. Johnny was not the champion because he did not defend his belt. That is not the champion. He is the belt holder until he defends his belts. And if you don't defend them against me and you defend them against somebody else and you win, I'm going to call you the champion still. But if you fight somebody else before you fight me and don't defend the belts, you know it proves point blank and simple what I said. You're a coward and you're too scared to fight me. But until then, I will not acknowledge you as a champion. I wouldn't acknowledge Johnny as a champion. Until you can earn the belts and defend them, you are not a champion. You are merely a belt holder. There are only 2 champions in the bare knuckle fighting championships. Joey Beltran has successfully obtained and defended his belt. Luis Palomino has successfully obtained and defended his belt. Those are what you call champions. Me, I will be the first 135-pound champion. Once that stops being a bitch, and once I put Chop Chop out of fighting, and he steps up and mans up, I'm going to take the belt from him, and then I'm going to give Jared Grant what he has earned, his opportunity to fight for the titles, and I'm going to stop him in his tracks too, and I will be the first 135-pound bare knuckle champion. The first champion, not the first belt holder. There's already been 2 belt holders. I will be the first champion. That's how the story is written. But right now, the focus is cutting down Chop Chop Corley and letting anybody in any other combat sport in the world, if you think you can come into the 135-pound division and take my spot, it's not going to happen. And I will definitely let the world know on March 19th. Sorry.
No worries. That was good. That's a good clip right there.
I'm sorry. Eaz-E came out right there. I try to keep him under wraps, until it's time to fight. But when you start talking about certain things, it's like he's like, oh, hold on, Reggie, get back here. Hold on, I got this one for you, dog.
That's all right. That's all good. So talk about Eaz-E. How did this name Eaz-E?
It's just easy. So okay. If you look at it, right, it says Eaz, Eaz-E. So it's just easy.
Eaz-E.
Yep.
So how'd you get that nickname?
I got that in 2008 when I won the Mid-Atlantic Regional Boxing Tournament. I fought 4 times that weekend. I won every single fight in dominant fashion. And my ring name before then was Showtime. And a little kid came over to me and he said, man, I watched you all weekend. I think he was like 8 or 9. He's like, and I told the story for. He said, man, I watched you all weekend. And you made every last one of those. How'd you make it look so easy? And I said, because I train hard and I work when nobody else is working. He said, man, they should call you Eaz-E. And I was like, you know what? That's going to be my ring name from now on. And so
they should call you Eaz-E. A little kid said they should call you Eaz-E.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's been my ring name. It used to be Showtime.
See, here I thought the nickname came from, something that I know, that, the Eaz-E that I know is a singer.
Yeah, the hip hop culture. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Come on, man. Everybody knows who Eaz-E is. And that's what I tell people because they're like, and when they say Eaz-E, and I'm like, no, it's just Eaz-E. Because I want to make sure that they understand that I'm not trying to infringe on anything that he did in his, time that he was here on this earth. I'm my own person in itself, and I would never step on another man by trying to take his moniker. So, but I got it from a kid. He was like, they should call you Eaz-E. And so, but I didn't want to spell it like Easy, because when I was a kid, I gave myself a homemade tattoo. And I spelled my name's Reggie, and my dad's name is Reggie. I went through that rebellious phase when me and my father weren't exactly getting along and stuff. And so my rebellion was to spell my name REG-E. And I said, I'm not the Reggie you want me to be anymore. So let's see, I can only be real, And it's for me, it's actually therapeutic to look back on some of this stuff and laugh and think about it, right? And so when I got my ring name, I was like, well, I'll just spell Eaz-E the way I spelled Reggie.
I hear you. And where'd you put this tattoo?
It was on my left forearm.
Okay. You still got it?
No, I got it covered up. I stuck poke it literally with pen ink and a needle and thread.
Nice.
And so I got it covered up with my cross.
Nice. So Eaz-E. That's it. Just Eaz-E. Everyone just call him Eaz-E.
Yeah, just call me Eaz-E. Oh, you want to hear another funny story?
Hey, what's up? Your mom says hello.
What's up, Mom and Jared? So this actually backfired on me once too. I fought in an event. I won a title too that night. It was an amateur event. I won the title. We're at the little after party, and one of the ring girls come over and she's like, "You gotta meet my friend. You gotta meet my friend." And I was like, "She really wants to meet you." And I was like, "Okay, come on, I'll go." You know, I'm the people's champ. I love people. I feel like humans are put on this earth for each other. We're supposed to help and guide each other through the things we don't understand and the roadblocks that we get to in life. But I go over there, and there's a crowd of people. We're all standing around, and I said, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Eaz-E." And I put my hand out, and she looked at me, and she looked me up and down, and she said, "Are you really?" And everybody busted out laughing. And I probably turned like 3 shades red. I was so embarrassed. It's like the one time that backfired on me.
Are you Eaz-E? Okay. This was before your wife.
Yeah,
long time ago. So BKFC, they're on their 16th event.
16.
They are the pinnacle of bare knuckle. A lot of companies are trying. A lot of companies have tried. And you got on the right card.
There will be fakers, there will be imitators, but there will never be another one like it.
Yeah, and you're an OG already.
Yeah,
you're an OG of bare knuckle. Yeah, you started it all. Bare knuckle fighting championship 1. Dave talks about it. His dream. He talks about that night like know.
Yeah. I tell Dave, and I had sent him a message a long time ago. I said, "Thank you for not giving up on your dream, so I had the possibility to live mine." Yeah. That's the message I sent him after that first bare knuckle fight, because for me it was like when you talk about goals and levels, it was like, all right, I hit a goal. I came full circle, and here I am getting to do what I love to do. And it's only because somebody else had enough belief in himself too to keep chasing his dream and trying to make something happen when everybody else told him that it was never possible. Do you know how many people told me that I was never going to be anything, I wasn't going to amount to nothing, that I was going to end up dead or in jail and this and that? And some of that I internalized for a really long time. And I think I really felt that towards the end of my alcoholism before I got sober. And now I look at where I am now and coming through on the other side, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to chase my dream. And without the bare knuckle fighting championships, I might be chasing it somewhere else, but it wouldn't be on the level that it's at now. And so I'm just really grateful for it. And that's why I go out and I leave it all in the squared circle, because I remember the amount of opportunities I pissed away. And so the ones I get now, I'm gonna give it my all. This is my everything.
Yeah. Well, what'd you think about Knuckle Mania in Tampa? Paige Van Zandt versus Britain Hart. How'd you think Paige Van Zandt did?
She did good as well as fighting. What she didn't do good is in the aspect of dealing with being hit bare knuckle. Yeah. That's really what it was. And if you go back and watch the fight, she hit Britain with some good punches, and then Britain fought back, and then Paige would pause in between. She wouldn't, the punches that Britain was throwing, even though they weren't super, super hard, they froze her for that second.
Yeah.
She was still, her mind and body was still trying to adjust for dealing with that type of pain, because it's completely different from getting hit with the MMA glove or a boxing glove or getting kicked or kneed or shin. It's completely different.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the biggest difference maker in that fight. Paige would attack Britain would fight back, and Paige would do nothing.
Yeah.
Britain would attack Paige would do nothing.
And then the fifth round?
Yeah, she tried to come up. And
yeah. It was like where did this come from? This, like the fifth round, if she started fifth round in the first, I mean, like it's a different fight.
So Steve, you just confirmed my point. Yeah. The reason why is because her mind and body was still trying to adjust for getting hit like that, for that kind of pain, and it finally didn't settle in until the last round.
Yeah.
And then she was like, okay, I can deal with this shit. Let's go. But by then it was too little too late. And Britain wasn't about to back down.
Yep.
So, but you're right, had she came out the gate fighting like she fought in the fifth round, it might have been a completely different fight.
Yeah.
But her mind and body were still, and that's how I feel about it. I could be wrong, and there could be other people who have their opinions about why, it went the way it transpired the way it did. But I personally feel like it's just, it takes a different type of mental, physical, emotional, spiritual capacity to get in there and get hit with the bare knuckle. It really, really does. Yeah. Look at some of the guys who get in there and they get hit one time, and it's just, they're just like, oh, I'm done with this shit. Right? And then you see some guys that get hit, and you can see it. Go back and watch some of the fights, right? You see some of the fighters that get hit, and you see that little wire going off where their mind is making that decision. You can see it in their eyes where they're making that decision. Am I built for this or am I not?
Right.
And then the ones that don't make they shut down and they lose quickly, right? Mm-hmm. And the ones that make the decision, oh no, I'm built for this, that's when we get the great fights. That's when you get a Sterling Segali fight.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Both of them women were like, oh no, it don't matter what you throw at me, I'm built for this. And so we got a absolutely beautiful 5-round war out of those two ladies. What bare knuckle fighting championships is all about.
That's right.
So when you talk about Paige and Britain, a little too late, But I don't not want to see her come back. Of course, I want to see her come back. Come back and redeem yourself.
Yeah.
Come back and show these women that, okay, I struggled with the first one. I had to adjust. I had to get a feel for it. I had to get my feet wet, but I'm built for this. Come back and show the world that you are, Paige. I pray and I hope that you do. Don't go quietly into the night, and let these people talk about you.
Yeah, well, she started saying something about, maybe I shouldn't be a bare knuckle fighter. She started talking about that, and then she's like, I realize I am built for this. I don't know, maybe she thought she had another couple fights on her contract. But she just might have been punch drunk.
Who knows? But I just fighter to fighter, Paige, if you ever happen to come across this video or somebody shows it to you, come back. You part of the BKFC family now, win, lose, or draw. And we know that you can come back and show the world that you built for this.
Yeah.
And I hope that you do. BKFC fighter to BKFC fighter. I really hope that you do.
There you go. That's
I take
what's up.
Nothing away from Britain Hart, because in all honesty, I expected that fight to go that way.
Really?
And I said that in the interview. I said it's gonna be a fight. It's not gonna be what y'all expect. And I knew that she was not going to back down to Paige. She had nothing to lose.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that was just the hype around it. It did record-breaking bare knuckle fighting championship records as far as on their app. As far as views. What's that?
Do you feel like the fight lived up to the hype?
I thought the night did, for sure. It was a great night of fights. I mean, before I never heard of someone talk their way into a fight on a main card Super Bowl weekend like Brandon Lambert did. You know, like he literally talked his way onto a card and hounded everyone he could till he got a fight. You know, like, you know, people now, you know, they're at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 16. People now have to go, you know, toe the line. They have to prove themselves a bunch of times. You know, they want to see them fight, see if they can see how the fight's going to turn out, see if they're any good or not.
I know, right? Had to try out for my spot. This asshole talked his way on the
exactly. He talked his way, and you know, he got the fight, and you know, big respect to him because it worked. I've seen the guy Mallow on like 10 talk shows, so you know, he's likable, you know, for sure. And the guy even he's training with him. Jared, he's training with, you know, Ryan Perez now at Jared's gym. So, you know, maybe we see him again. You think we do?
Yeah, I think we do.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys need some, you know, green-haired people on some of those shows.
Oh, wait till you see my hair for the fight.
What do you got planned?
Can't tell you. Just have to wait and see.
Yeah. So David Feldman said this. He's got some big news. He always got big news.
You got big news.
You got any hints of that big news? You know it? Lips are sealed. Lips are sealed. We gotta wait till David.
Wait till the boss man lets y'all know. I'm a company man. So.
I thought right when he said big news coming, I'm like, Reggie's gonna get a shot at that, you know, like that's the first thing that came in my mind.
I ain't even getting my hopes up for that. I'm not even like that man is so far not on my level. You can hold on to the belts for as long as you like, man. You ain't even on my level. It's not worth me to have to, you know, fighters fight, right?
Yeah.
So know the difference. I'm a fighter, you're not. You're a cherry picker. You're a record patter. You know, we know that. You probably paid them for that title opportunity. Probably what happened. You know, so
did you think that was gonna beat Johnny? I mean, did you think?
I was hoping he did. No disrespect to Johnny, only because now he has no excuse not to fight me. Right? Like you. And everyone's like, oh, you should wait till Dad wants to fight you. But like I said, I'm not going to sit around and wait. And I feel like fighting Chop Chop, you know, puts an extra oomph on my legacy.
Yeah. You might just give him a one and done type of thing, like, you know, like a bunch of boxers that have come into this sport before. Didn't Paulie, you know, came in once. Fought once, and you know, I think that was the highest, you know, other than Paige Van Zandt. That was the highest. He was the highest paid bare knuckle fighter they have.
Yeah.
For that one event, Artem Lobov, Paulie Malignaggi. I would really like to see Paulie come back because, you know, other than his hand being broken early in the fight. I really wanted to, you know, see a brawl, and he could brawl, you know, like it's hard to brawl with your hand behind your back because it's broken, you know.
Paulie can fight. I take nothing away from him being able to fight. If he comes back, he comes back. I saw him at the last minute. I was like, he's coming back. He was like, hell no. Yeah, bro, I saw it. It was either the last event or the one in Florida. One of the ones I saw. I was like, "Oh, Paulie, you coming back?" He's like, "Hell no." Nah. He said, "I'm here to support."
Yeah, because the picture in the press conference after, it was like this.
Yo, both his hands look like two pillows.
Both his hands were in pillows. Yeah, yeah. But money talks. I mean, believe it or not, it's hard to turn down one night of fighting, 10 minutes of fighting for, the type of money that people throw at him.
Yeah, but 10 minutes of fighting could end your life or your entire career. So risk versus reward always.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not really about the money. My life is good. I have a great job. I own a gym. Like I said, Dave takes care of us. I have a phenomenal amount of sponsors who are helping, with this journey. So I'm going to fight Chop Chop because I want to fight and I want to put the world on notice that I'm here. Like they don't respect it. So I'm gonna make them respect it. If I have to cut down a former world champion and make y'all respect it, then that's what I'll do. I don't want to. I will.
We got Matt, my co-host, in the background, wanted to come on and ask you some questions. So we're gonna bring him on. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on?
What's up, Reggie?
What's up, man?
Wait, hold on. I gotta check my audio here.
We hear you fine.
I hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. All right. I can't hear you though.
Really?
Yeah, some. All right, that's good. Say something.
Good. What's up? So what's going on? So
we got sound. We're good. So what's going on, Reggie?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I came in a little late to the show here, but so you got a fight coming up in next month, huh?
Yeah, man. Less than a month. Less than a month
now. Was it the 19th, right?
Yep. March 19th. It's going down.
And who's your opponent?
Fill up the rest of the card. That's why I'm more on pins and needles for who else is going to be on the card with me.
Who do you want to be on the card with you? Who do you like in BKFC? Who would you like to share the card with?
Tom Shaw. Definitely the Misfit, Christine Ferreira. Definitely. Yeah. Unfortunately, Sam and Joey are fighting.
She trains at your gym?
No.
Nah.
Christine lives in Vegas.
Yeah.
Christine Ferreira, she lives in Vegas, so I'm on the complete opposite side of the country. The only time we see each other is at least every other month for the events. We make sure that we try to fly out and be there to support Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships and support each other. So, damn, I can't think of his name. Off the top of my head.
What about guys like Luis Palomino or Hector Lombard?
That's where it is. I want to see Hector come back, and I would like to see that one kid, Chalbeck or whatever, who fought on the last card. I was really impressed. I was really, really impressed. He fought that one guy, Bono or something like that. Or I can't, man.
Yeah, he knocked him down several times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see Hector come back also. I was just talking to someone about Hector Lombard, who he goes down in Miami to the 5th Street gym to spar sometime, and he doesn't get a lot of sparring partners. And in fact, in fact, according to my friend, listen to this. Check this out. He'll walk into the gym, and none of the other heavyweights there will even look him in the eye. They don't want to get in the ring with him. They don't want to spar him. Did you see the last the Planet of the Apes movie where the leader, the head ape, all the other apes would bow their head, to show the respect for the head one? That's kind of what it sounded like. No one looking at no one would look at
somebody else's gym.
Yeah.
Just put his hand out
I know. Yeah. It's like I'm not a heavyweight today, man. I'm not a heavyweight.
When I was in Miami I flew into Miami first for Knucklemania to visit my sponsors at Damware and hang out. He, gave me the blessing. I went over there to Goat Shed and trained at his gym. We missed each other because he was already on his way to Tampa for the event. So, but as always, I thank him. I love Hector Lombard to death. He treats me like a little brother, for real. And to thank that somebody I idolized watching, growing up a little bit. Now I've shared the ring with, and I've shared the locker room with, and he literally all the time, we fam, little bro, we fam. You need anything, hit me up,
Yeah.
And so to me, that in itself, like you said, a goal, Steve, that's like, it comes full circle to have friends in good places, in high places, opposed to some of the, people I chose.
Yeah, Hector's good people. I've seen him bunch of times. Around. He's good people.
Who do y'all want on the card? Y'all ask me. Y'all the fans.
Yeah, well, look, I also want to see Jake Bostwick fight again. He had his first fight, and it went into that overtime round and all that. I think with the experience, he'll show up next time, and he's a brawler. He's not going anywhere. He's standing in front of you. He's fighting. I'd like to see that guy again.
Yeah, that was a great fight, and I was when they said they're going into a 6th round of sudden death.
What?
I was like, oh snap! I honestly thought the last world title fight in my weight division should have went into a 6th round. I felt like they should have did an inaugural 6th round world title fight.
Yeah, had you heard of Reggie? Have you heard about a 6th round before that night?
Yeah.
So you knew that if it was tied, it could go into a 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I didn't night I didn't know.
Y'all didn't know. The fans didn't know. The public didn't know a lot, but the fighters knew, because in the fighter meeting they had already warned, discussed it with them, and it says that in the event that a fight ends in a draw, be prepared. You will have to answer the bell for a 6th round or forfeit the match. It says it in there.
Yeah.
And so we know, but that was the first time they ever officially did it, or like brought it to the forefront of the public. But when they did the fighters meeting that night was the first time they actually officially announced it. And I just happened to be spying in. I was walking around everywhere with my camera, getting cameos with all the fighters and stuff, because that was the night that pulled out. So I was stood in for the fighters meeting, and they announced it, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this. And I was hoping that one of the fights did that, and then we saw it happen. And I was like, oh, yeah. So, and that brings a little extra. I think, in all honesty, I feel like all fights in all sports should be like that.
Yeah.
Like there should never ever be a draw in a combat sport.
Right. I think Dave Feldman should think about putting that in his press releases or during the meetings, and saying there's going to be no draws.
Yep.
That's a draw.
There will be no draws.
Yeah.
We have a winner and we have a loser. There will be no draws. There shouldn't ever be a draw. And I understand they changed the whole 15 round to 12 round in boxing to protect, the health of the fighters and da. So at the end of all that, and the score is 115 to 115, they need to go another round. Period. They need to suck it up. Y'all get your asses out the ring and let them go 3 more minutes. Same thing in MMA. At the end of the fight, it's 27-20 or whatever it is. Y'all need to get out the ring and let them men go another 5 minutes. I bet you there'll be a winner. Somebody will want it more.
Yeah. Or like a sudden death kind of thing, where the first one to score, either score a takedown or score a knockdown or something like that would win,
even that way.
Yeah.
But shit, I'm down for a whole another 5 minutes.
Why not?
Yeah, if it was MMA, I'm cool with it. I'm down for a whole another 5 minutes. And bare knuckle, you add any extra rounds, I'm cool with it. And I always say, I asked for the world title fight with Johnny to be 7 rounds. I asked for it because over in Britain, all their world title fights are 7 rounds. And they were like, no state's going to sanction a 7-round bare knuckle fight. And I could just imagine what I would have done with 2 more rounds. But you don't live in what ifs or whatever. But so maybe hopefully one day though we'll get to where we can do those 7-round world title fights rather than the world title fight be the same amount of rounds as a normal fight, because in no other combat sport is that the case. But we will say though, in no other combat sport do you have a sudden death round. So Yeah, it's give and take. Give and take. You take what you get.
Your mom wants you to answer this question.
All right, Reggie is ranked number 1. Needs to fight against someone who's new to BKFC and not go straight and fight the champion. That's it's a great question.
It's a great question. And in all honesty, I don't need to fight Chop Chop.
Yeah.
I don't need to fight him for money. I don't need to fight him for clout, any of that. I fight because I want to fight. And at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and drag my feet waiting for them to decide. I came in, Steve, we just talked about, I came in the sport to be a fighter, to fight. And so right. I'm going to fight everybody. I fight them all in the same night. You didn't let me tell you the story. When I was in Mississippi as a teenager, they stuck me into a backyard brawl. I ended up fighting 5 guys in one night. Bare knuckle, no hold barred. No, there were no rules. Some of these dudes had on jeans when they jumped in that cage. And jeans and sneakers. One of the kids had on a pair of Airwalks. I remember he kicked me in the chin with them. You know what I'm saying?
This is before Kimbo Slice. The original backyard brawl. Can't hear you.
Yeah, we lost that audio. Can you hear me, Steve?
I hear you, Matt.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, Reggie. You getting a phone call or something? Yeah. So Matt, Reggie was telling me that back in the day, they were doing backyard brawls and everything just before Kimbo. Can you hear us?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we hear you.
I can hear it there now.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
There. Hello?
I don't know. Maybe you were getting a phone call or something.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. You're good.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, my Bluetooth literally just cut on. It's been sitting on the table the whole time, not on. It just cut on.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we can hear you now. You're good.
It was for real. It just cut on and connected to the Bluetooth.
So what was your favorite fight that you've watched in 16 bare knuckle fighting championship events? What is your not yourself because
Oh yeah, not my. I already know.
Besides yourself,
you gotta finish the question. Tony Lopez versus Joey Beltran, BKFC 1. That was my favorite fight.
That's your favorite fight.
That will always be my favorite fight. Those two men went to war and had a situation that they had absolutely no idea what they were walking into. Yeah. They threw off everything they had and they left it all in the ring and beat the crap out of each other. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
for me. Being there.
He's a great. I like watching him fight. He's down here. He's training in Miami now. Also, in fact, he was fighting a heavyweight boxer named Ivan Ditchko, who's just a knockout artist. Really strong guy. They were training together down at 5th Street today.
Oh yeah, and he's 6. What is he? 6'6"?
Easily, probably 6'7". Yeah, he's just one of these big Ukrainian guys. Yeah, so
I love Joey to death. I love Sam too. So, like I said, they're fighting in April. I'm impartial for that fight. I have the utmost respect for both of them, men. Both of those men. It's hard for me to, and I look at all of the fighters like family now. We're really so close knit and like a little family. So we all try to watch out for each other. So when you get somebody on the opposite side of the family, it's like, damn, I got to fight my stepbrother. For me, that was almost like what it felt like when I fought Abdul.
Yeah.
And that was a hard fight for me. Me and Abby are friends, for real friends. It wasn't anything, but I had to do what I had to do as far as business wise and sell the fight and talk my trash and get in there and handle my business. But the next morning, when we both met downstairs in the lobby, I was like, never again. You couldn't pay me enough money in the world to fight somebody I'm friends with.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm cool with fighting Chop Chop. I don't dislike him. I respect him as a man, but we ain't friends like that. So let's fight. That Gwen, I don't respect him at all. Johnny, I respect.
I would fight him again. Travis, we're friends now. I would never run it back with Travis. And a couple people even said that. Travis showed up to one of my pro boxing matches in Philadelphia. You know, that's how much. This is post BKFC. After we done already fought at BKFC 1, Travis still went out of his way to show up at one of my pro boxing matches in Philadelphia. You know, so we're friends. I would never fight him again. You know, it's just there are certain levels and aspects to it. Now, like I said, when I get my hands on that, I'm gonna beat him like he owed me protection money. Chop chop.
Did you when you fought boxing, when you just fought in boxing, were you saying, oh well, I'd rather be bare knuckle? I mean, or I mean, are you just like
initially?
Yeah.
The goal was to do it all. To do bare knuckle, to do boxing, to do MMA, to do Muay Thai, to do kickboxing. I wanted to be like the first guy to fight in every single combat sport in the encompass of 1 year, right? Yeah. But then COVID hit,
right?
Because we were on pace to do it. Like I was. February, I fought Matt Murphy, and I had already had my boxing match lined up in March. We already had an MMA fight lined up in May. I was going to take June off because it was my wife's birthday month and fight in July, a different aspect, like we had, and then COVID hit and it completely threw off everything. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to focus on getting better at bare knuckle. So when I have the opportunity to fight again, I will be at the best form possible. And so that's been my focus. I'm still a current.
What type of you do? Was it Jet Kundo?
It's Jeet Kundo.
Jeet Kundo.
Say it with me. Jeet
Kundo.
Yeah. You know the thing is, Reggie, he was walking around Orlando. He had a Jeet Kundo sweatshirt like that. who gave that to you, Steve? Didn't someone?
Bruce Lee gave that to me.
I think like Dan Inosanto sent it to him in the mail, and he's getting the name wrong. Man, come on. Jeet Kundo.
My buddy Rob Doggett. The JKD process, it's an online training program that teaches Wing Chun and Jeet Kundo. And I studied initially Wing Chun when I started doing MMA. And my approach to this whole bare knuckle thing is a hand-to-hand combat approach, not like other people's. And so whatever extra hand-to-hand combat skills I can add to my tool belt, I will. And I'm not afraid to tell anybody or whatever. And if you've been paying attention, you will see shades of my karate and my Wing Chun and my Taekwondo and my other fights. So now me and Rob are going to get together and just add another element, to it. I've been, doing this course and watching and doing the training videos, and I'm going to apply it. That's what makes me educated hands. It's applied knowledge to fighting.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that guy, Clay Collard? He was an MMA guy, went into boxing this past year during COVID, and he knocked out I think it was 3 or 4 upcoming prospects.
Oh, that guy! Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I only saw one of the fights. I only saw one of them, but I heard about that.
Well, one of them, one of them, it was like a contender for fight of the year because there were quite a few knockdowns in it. Like he got knocked down, then he knocked the other guy down. But at one point, he did the Wing Chun, like the chain punches. He chain punched this guy across the ring.
That's the fight I watched.
Yeah. What were you saying?
That's the fight I watched.
I know.
Yes.
This
that's
guy.
The one out. He was like, that was the one I watched. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, is he using who was with me? My mom was like, is he using Kung Fu? I was like, no, Mom, it's Wing Chun.
Yeah, absolutely. And the boxer probably didn't even know it hit him. He's like, what is this guy doing, man? But he timed it perfectly, and it
wasn't illegal. Strength, and it wasn't illegal.
Nah, of course not. It's just like, how do you train against that? You don't know what stance the guy's in, and he just knocked him across the ring. And who was it that did it in the UFC like a long time ago? Was it? It might have been Vitor Belfort. That he did the same thing. He chain punched the guy across the ring in one of the early UFC fights. But it's fun to watch, man. It is, and people People like they put it down. They put down Wing Chun, you know, and nobody does Jeet Kune Do anymore. They don't know anything about that, you know.
Nothing.
Ip Man does.
I think he's
well.
dead. Yeah, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's dead.
I look at it like this, in any aspect of combat fighting, you know, it's better to have a tool belt full of different skill sets than a tool belt full of limited skill sets. All right, like when I got into MMA, all I could do was box and wrestle.
Yeah,
I didn't know no jiu-jitsu. I didn't know nothing about no takedown defense. I didn't know nothing about no cage work. None of that. I could box and I could wrestle. That was it. You know. And so as I took a hiatus after getting my ass kicked 3 times in a row, and I started learning these things. You know, I learned a little bit of jiu-jitsu. Not no world-class level jiu-jitsu practitioner. You know, I learned and understood how to work and use the cage. I studied a little bit more kicking as far as Muay Thai than Taekwondo, what I originally had. And I got better. I went on a 15-fight winning streak as an amateur. Nobody could beat me. And that was from applying the knowledge of fighting. You know, it was, and people were so, and I had more submission wins than I had knockouts. And I'm supposed to be a hands expert and a boxer.
Yeah.
People were so scared to throw hands with me that they'd be like, oh, I'm going to shoot in on them, or, you know, this, whatever. And they ended up getting caught. And so fighting is about also learning and being able to adapt. My approach is like Bruce Lee's was. I'm not going to sit here and try to say I'm anything like that man. There will never, ever be another man anywhere near the comparison of Bruce Lee. But if you talk about Reggie Eaz-E educated Barnett's approach to fighting, it is so similar as far as what he was doing. I'm blending everything. I'm making my own fighting style. I'm beyond the bounds of being a boxer or an MMA fighter. I'm educated hands. That's my own style.
Yeah. How do you think you've made like the adjustments with punching and bare knuckle compared to boxing? You know.
So like in that first fight too, like I think it was the second or third round, I broke both hands. That was the only fight I broke my hands too. Was that very first one. In the second or third round, I hit Travis with a left uppercut, right hook, and I threw them bad boys as hard as I could throw them. As hard as I could throw them, like I had on boxing gloves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wrong answer, baby. Wrong answer. You know, and so you learn how to control your punch speed, how to control the angle of your punch, how to control the torque of your punch. All of these things actually come into play in a bare knuckle fight.
Yeah.
And some of this I actually learned from Bobby Gunn.
From who?
From Bobby Gunn.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that you made the adjustments. I watched your fight against I can't remember the guy's name now. It was at a C. Who was the guy you fought?
Clay Burns?
Yes. And I
yeah,
saw
that was my second fight.
Yeah.
My second. So you saw me make the adjustments.
I
right?
saw the adjustments. I saw you were throwing shorter, tighter punches in closer, you know, not extending them a lot, but they were effective, you know. Yeah, I definitely saw that. You didn't hurt your hands as much in that fight, did you?
No, Clay broke his hand. I didn't break my hands at all.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, because again, that was which BKFC was that? Was that like
that was
2?
BKFC 2?
Yeah. Because guys were still getting hurt, you know, then, and I saw that you were the only one that probably didn't get hurt, you know.
That's because I learned from the first fight, and I went back and I made the adjustment. And then we go to the Rusty Crowder fight, and he ran from me, and I didn't understand how to cut off a circle. So I had to go back and make the adjustment and figure that out. And then I fought Johnny, and we all know how that fight turned out. I got off the canvas after that first knockdown, and everything went out the window. I just was like, forget it. I was seeing red the entirety of that fight. I was sitting on the stool in between the rounds, and my cornermen were giving me instructions, and the only thing I was saying to myself over and over again is, I have to knock you down. I have to knock you down. I have to knock you down. And so every time I got off the stool, that's all I went out there to do. There was no educated hands. There was no boxing skill. There was no brawling skill. It was nothing but me just trying to knock Johnny back down.
Right.
That was
right.
it. You know? And so we fast forward past the Johnny fight to the Matt Murphy fight. I absolutely obliterated Matt Murphy. Nobody's seen that fight unless you were there live. I call that the lost tape. And I probably deserved it because at the end of the fight, what people don't know is Matt wanted to quit, and I didn't want him to quit. So I started chanting, let us fight, let us fight. And they were like, shut up. The commission was like, stop it. And I was like, let us fight. And then they ended up stopping the fight. So I think that's why we've never seen the actual video of it. It was a little, my behavior, I will be honest, was a little distasteful at the end of the fight. But I wanted to fight, and I felt like Matt could have continued fighting, but the doctor said his cut was too bad, so it didn't continue. And then we go to the Abby fight. Like I said, one, I fought my friend, and then two, my point wasn't to knock Abby out. And I said that when we got on the scale, when we faced off, I said, be ready tomorrow, class starts, don't be tardy. I wanted to prove a point that I have grown in this sport, that I have gotten better, and I have the capacity to continue to get better in this sport. And so on March 19th, I will show some more growth and show some more of the tools that I have put in my belt against Chop Chop. And I'm cool with taking the fight. I don't have to. I could have turned it down, and nobody would have thought a lesser man of me.
Right. Well, now, do you think if you had waited, you would get the shot at Dat if you skipped this BKFC and waited for the next one? Because they wouldn't let Dat fight in this one. It's,
I know, and I said to Dat too. What a lot of people weren't listening, or just didn't really care what I said when I jumped in the ring at Knucklemania. First of all, I was respectful enough to give him his little couple of minutes to say what he had to say. I didn't just walk in there and smack the shit out of him and take the mic out of his hand like I originally planned to do. That's not, that's not what professional athletes do. So I got in there, I gave him his second, and then I told him that he did not deserve those belts. He didn't rightfully own them because he cherry-picked around me just like he cherry-picked around in boxing, and that he had 6 months to get healthy and make up his mind whether he was going to fight me. Now, am I going to sit around for 6 months twiddling my thumbs, holding on to a cliff, whether he's going to make up his mind whether he's going to fight me or not? No. I have a career. I have a family to feed. I have goals and aspirations. And I'm not going to put that on hold because he's too much of a coward to make up his mind. Because had he said, all right, I got you, Reggie, we fighting in November, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But we don't know, and I'm not living. We already live in a world of so much uncertainty. I have a skill that I'm good at. I'm going to apply it.
Right. Now, do you think it's up? Do you think it's up to Dat who he's going to fight next, or is it up to Dave Feldman?
It's up to Dave Feldman, and we already know who Dat's fighting next. But the focus isn't Dat. Yeah. I'm going to go in there and have a ball and fight Chop Chop, and we'll go from there. I'm not looking past Marcus Corley. This man is dangerous in his own right. You don't win 4 world championships by not being dangerous.
No.
But I'm just as dangerous, and bare knuckle is my sport. This ain't boxing. I can box too, and I honestly feel like where he's at now in his career, a boxing match, I would probably beat him too. Bare knuckle, it's just going to be worse.
Yeah, we have the 44-year-old versus the 34-year-old in a 10-minute brawl.
10-minute brawl. I hope he's got gas for 10 minutes because I got gas for hours.
Yeah, well, I think the experience in bare knuckle. I've seen it with most of the guys. They just get better. They get used to it. They make the adjustments they have to make. And I think the experience is definitely on your side in that fight.
Definitely. So, and it's not a long fight. So, can you make that adjustment in my sport that fast? Because I can.
Yeah,
I've done it. I've had to.
But that's the thing with bare knuckle. The only way to get that experience is to fight in the bare knuckle fights because you're not sparring bare knuckle in the gym.
Are we not?
They aren't. Are you?
They aren't.
You are?
They aren't.
You are. You got guys that are sparring you bare knuckle?
You must not be on my page.
I don't think I am. I haven't seen anyone sparring in the gym bare knuckle.
Go check
Sparring
out my go check out my Instagram page. Go check out my Facebook page.
Reggie, your mom corrected us. She said that Chop Chop's 47.
47.
I don't care how old he is. You're only as old as you feel anyway. So if he feels 30, so if he feels like he's 34 when he's stepping there with me, then he feel like he's 34. He can still get beat up like a 34-year-old. It don't matter. Age is a number, really.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
fight is a fight. What were you saying? Oh,
yeah, talking about the sparring bare knuckle.
I have gear that is specially equipped to allow me to do so.
Okay.
I told you I'm on a different level than these other fighters. So. And that's how I've gotten to that level.
Well, I'm gonna check out your Instagram page, man. That has me intrigued. That has me interested for sure, man. What do you think about the rules in the clinch, and how is your experience with Wing Chun and all the other fighting styles that you've studied? How do you use the clinch?
Effectively.
Let me rephrase that.
Let me stop it.
What styles do you draw from when you're in the clinch? Are you thinking jiu-jitsu? Are you thinking Wing Chun? What are you thinking?
Like I said, it's not you can't pin it down to one specific like discipline. No. Mine is not. It's not just one discipline. It's my own fighting style. It's what's blended together and what I know will work for that moment in time. Because not everything works for every situation. And I say that when I teach fighting and when I do instructionals and when I do videos. Fighting is relative. We can train this 1, 2, 3 all day, and we can train the counter for the 1, 2, 3 all day. And we can train all the possibilities of what's going to come back or happen before the 1, 2, 3. But there's no guarantee that any of that crap will happen because fighting is relative. What happened to Matt?
I don't know. He got disconnected. But when Matt gets back, we're gonna do the wrap up show.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to. I don't want to keep you from your kiddies. I'm sure you have to put them to bed soon. Matt, so we're gonna wrap up the show. Reggie's gonna.
I didn't hear what you said. I got booted out somehow. What were you saying about the style thing, Reggie? At the end.
Oh, that fighting one, like I said, fighting is relative, and so again, that whole tool belt thing. I call it this swivel belt that I have on my hip when I step in the ring, right? And I might pull these two out and I'll try them. And if they don't work, I'll put one back on there and I'll spin that bitch and I'll pull another one out and I'll try that one. And if it works, I'll keep it in the hand and I'll put this one and I'll spin it again and I'll pull this one out. And if it doesn't work, I'll put it back and I'll keep doing it. And I have so many on that belt now that it doesn't even matter. And it's not a specific style or discipline. It's what I created to work for me for fighting in bare knuckle fighting championships. And that's why I'm an OG, and that's why I've gotten so good at this sport. My approach is different. They just come in there with what they know and how they fight. That's not how I looked at this sport.
Yeah. Other guys that we've interviewed do, they say, if they have, especially if they have a Muay Thai background, and that's, that's the extent of it. Yeah,
we use the Thai, we use the Wing Chun, we use some wrestling grappling in there too. Of
course.
So it's just you put it together and you make it work for that fighting style. And as long as I continue to do that, now I said in a previous interview that I didn't think anybody could beat me, and I was wrong because I was only still a boxer then. I hadn't transformed into a bare knuckle fighter. But I have made that transformation. And am I a complete bare knuckle fighter? No. But am I going to continue to grow as a bare knuckle fighter? Yes. And on March 19th, we'll see more of that growth. And I hope the world is ready for it. I hope Chop Chop is ready for it.
Well, definitely. We definitely look forward to it.
You heard
All right, let's get it, Steve.
All right. Who would you like to give a shout out to? Your sponsors? Hit me.
Sponsors, hit you. So as always, first foremost, 7x7 Boxing, my home gym, all my teammates, all my other coaches. Thank you guys for y'all love and support. when all the wolves are in the pack, when all the wolves are in the den, the entire pack gets stronger, and all the guys have rallied behind me to help me get ready for this fight. So definitely shout out to you guys. I want to shout out my buddy Rob at the JKD process for helping me bring this new tool to the combat sports world, and I can't wait to premiere it in my fight on March 19th. So thank you so much for your sponsorship. Nate Price at Assured Construction for always just sticking by me. He's been riding with me since we started the other year. Even when Dak pulled out of the fight, he still was like, hey man, we got you, whatever you need. So thank you for your love and support. I greatly appreciate that. Gordon Customs, Lego, thank you for always looking out for me. My cousin Key at Key Creations. Y'all see my educated headbands? Y'all want one, hit me up, yo. Hit me up. We got plenty.
Nice.
Show your support. Her definitely. Joiner Driving Improvement School. I don't like to fly. We got to fly this time. Last time we just drove to Mississippi, and they made sure they looked out, and we drove in, style. But we flying this time. But they always still look out for us. J&K Style Grill, gonna have a little going away soiree there, and definitely a celebration party when I come back with this W. So, Match Belt, for always supporting me and helping me, being there for me with my strength and conditioning. But where else are we at, babe? Steve, I forget anybody? Oh, Travis Lee Institute, definitely Dr. Lee. Thank you for always being there for me, looking out. Fight Heads MMA, Miss Nikki Booker, all the way in Iowa, walked in my gym and has been supporting me on this whole entire ride. She rode with my wife all the way to BKFC. Well, yeah, BKFC 1. Carl's at Ginger Ales. I'm still waiting for my Eaz-E apple ginger ale, man. So I put you on blast in front of the whole world. I need an apple flavored ginger ales, man. We need that apple. And then Cryo Spa, Virginia Beach. After they traded companies out, they still picked me up as a sponsor. And so, they went out on a limb, and I appreciate that. Of course, my buddy Warren down in Miami, right where you at, damned where. Always looking out, a great host anytime I come to Florida. So thank you guys so much. Steve, we didn't miss anybody, did we? Oh, please check out my gear, My House Sports Gear. Everything educated and easy wear. You can go up there, copy a mask, shirt, headband, hoodie. The important part to me about this is 15% of all the proceeds from that goes directly to my LBC here, LBC number 12, to support the local boxing commission for USA Boxing. It's just my little way of giving back to the kids and the LBC I grew up in. So even if you don't like me, go buy a shirt and burn it so you can support the kids. I'm even cool with that. What?
Just write the check. Send them the money.
The future fighters of America.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think that's everybody. I missed some. Look, the love and support on this journey has been absolutely phenomenal. I thank you guys for just taking the time to talk to me. I say it all the time. I'm the outcast. I'm the nobody. So thank y'all for giving me a voice and, an opportunity to share a little bit of myself and take an interest in my craft and what I do.
Yeah, we had a good time. Thanks for coming on.
If y'all didn't, it would just be two idiots in there beating each other up for that. So y'all, the fans and the supporters of the industry in itself, make it work. And then definitely shout out to all my BKFC family. I love you guys. The fighters who are fighting, I hope y'all are training hard. Everybody else that works the background, I hope y'all are working hard. I'm looking forward to another great show on March 19th. So here's Steve. I'm about to sell it for you. If you have not already subscribed, please make sure you download that BKTV app. Yours truly, Reggie, Eaz-E, Educated Hands Barnett, has worked his way up from the tryouts to the big show. I am now the co-main event against a former world boxing champion. This man will not take my spot. Please tune in. It's going to be an awesome night of fights. Joe Elmore, Leonard Garcia, the main event. Y'all know that one's going to be a barn burner. Download the BKTV app. March 19th, live from Biloxi, Mississippi. Yours truly, Reggie Eaz-E, educated Barnett Jr. Educated hands. I'm educated too. Sorry,
See
it was a
that,
lot.
Steve?
My mouth started getting
That's
dry.
how it's done, Steve.
That's how it's done.
That's how it's done.
That's what's up.
Guys, thank you so much. It's late.
Thanks, Reggie.
I'm about to go get some rest.
All
hey,
right.
If you're in Florida, right, Matt?
Oh yeah. Yep.
What part?
Boynton Beach,
All right.
near West Palm Beach.
We'll be in Miami on the 16th of next month for the event. So.
Yeah.
If you can make it to BKFC, call me. I might have a seat at the table for you.
Nice. I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best. Then we'll get the interview. We'll have the camera out, you know.
Yeah, we can do it live and in person. But I got to get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Deuces.
I appreciate y'all's time. Y'all have a great evening. Be blessed.
Our pleasure.
Thanks, Reggie.
All right, be good, Reggie. Take care.
So, Matt, you came on a little late. I had
things to do, you know.
I was talking about the event, and Reggie said he was going to close out the show, saying sell it better than I did. So
yeah, he's a better speaker. I know
he
exactly.
Definitely sold it better than I did.
He's more fluent.
Probably because he's on it, so he's getting paid. So that's probably why. But you know, everyone, check it out. BKFC returns to Biloxi, Mississippi on Friday, March 19th. Download the app.
Which show was he talking about on the 16th? What's it going to be at the 16th? That's the next BKFC. That's the one in April, May?
I don't know. I don't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, he said he was going to be down here on the 16th. Yeah, well, wherever, you know. If there's fights, we're at it.
Yeah, maybe the next BKFC.
Yeah, that's what I think he was talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, good to see you, Matt. I've been on for like hour and 30 minutes, so you know I'm done. But you know, how do you like my backdrop here, Matt?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Can you make one of those for everyone, or what? What's going on?
Looks better like this, right? Nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. So can you make that for the other guests, or what? Or is that just something that you can have?
So this is the back. I have a green screen.
Oh, you have a green screen, right?
Yeah, this is my green screen. So if you have a green screen, you can do it as well. But yeah, that was good. He talked some good stuff. You know, he's a fighter, man. You know, wrestled in high school and lost his first bunch of matches, and you know, didn't give up.
Yeah,
and started winning like crazy, and then started boxing. I mean, he's got a great story. You know,
yeah, he's and he's got a good style. He's an exciting fighter. He's a southpaw. He's dangerous. You know.
That's right. So, guys, make sure you follow him. And
tomorrow night we have Melissa Odessa Parker on, who just fought this weekend against Cecilia Roman. And it was an exciting fight. She's an exciting person. She said she's got a lot to talk about, so we look forward to having her on 7:00 tomorrow Eastern time, and that's for her fans because she does live in Texas, even though she's from Brooklyn. So 7 p.m. Eastern time.
All right, you heard it here on the Fighting News.
Melissa Odessa Parker.
7:00.
Got it.
Deuces.
Good night.
As Deuce Gardner would say, the double deuces.
That's right.
The deuce.
And as I would say, good night. Good night, listeners. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget about our rain giveaway contest. If you watch our YouTube videos, watch 3 videos, drop 3 comments, you can win 3 cases of rain beverage. And we are doing the drawing this weekend. We didn't do it last weekend because we weren't here. We were away. We were in Orlando. What can I say? So
speaking of Orlando, Matt, I wanted to just, I mean, I've been talking for an hour and a half, but I got you on. We had a great event this past weekend, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. We're going to talk all about the event tomorrow. So it's a wrap.
Right.
Tune in tomorrow night.
Yes. There's nothing else we can say tonight.
That's right.
Good night.